Welcome, I'm Deb Shepard. I'm your host of Spirited Straight Talk. Thank you for joining me on this amazing spiritual journey that we call life. You're in the right place and you didn't land here by accident. My intention is to help you learn to free yourself of things that are holding you back and create a life that truly makes your soul happy. I'll be talking about key insights and interesting topics to help you learn how to powerfully co-create with the universe. I will cover everything from turning your setbacks into triumphs, and my favorite, living your soul's purpose. Of course, I'll be connecting with spirit, your guides, and the favorite one, of course, is your loved ones on the other side. If you're ready to truly stop spinning circles and you're ready to harness the power to co-create an authentic life with spirit, then I hope you join me every week for Spirited Straight Talk. And welcome everybody. I'm here with Dana. Our topic today is manifesting. And I thought this is a great topic because what I hear a lot is, I'm doing all the stuff that I thought I was supposed to be doing, and guess what? I'm still not manifesting. And there's a lot of frustration. And they ask, like, what can I do differently? Mm-hmm. And, manifesting is something that is really a mainstream word anymore. But I think there's a lot of confusion between what we're trying to manifest and our alignment with heart and head and soul. And what we want to talk about today is how to really truly manifest in a way that is much easier, because it isn't difficult. What we're doing when we manifest is we're creating a relationship with the universe.
Yes.
And that's the partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens, there are a lot of different things that we have to retrain ourselves when we try to manifest things. And that alignment is number one. And so I started thinking about a story of, and I've watched you do this, where we get a box of something, we put things together.
IKEA.
Patio furniture, whatever. And of course I'm standing there holding, the screws, the tools. And Dana's trying to read it all. And as we're putting things together, we get like halfway there or almost to the end, and a screw, a hole isn't lining up with another hole, mm-hmm. or we end up with extra screws. And we're going, okay.
Wait a minute. I'm putting it together and there's extra screws?
I'm teasing. It's happened. Okay.
I'm teasing.
So we have to pedal back, right? You have to go back and, redo a few things or reread the instructions.
Loosen the screws and follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you eventually get it done, right?
Yeah,
but it is all that way to kind of move whatever that piece is and make sure those holes are aligned. And we keep thinking they did something wrong, but really is we're not lining up to the directions. And of course we don't want to read the directions, right? We'd rather just imagine that we know what we're doing. We're engineers, so let's put this together.
I read the directions, though.
Yeah, but not me.
I'm teasing.
But it is about alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so the alignment means this, if you put a piece of furniture together and, it's not exactly aligned.
It's crooked.
Yeah, you're not going to sit in it or something's going to happen. It's going to collapse. And that's really what we're talking about in manifesting is, are you aligned with what you're trying to create? Because your thoughts are always manifesting. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts create your reality. And so let's say you have a desire to do something, but your thoughts are not in alignment with what you're manifesting. You're going to get what your thoughts are versus what you're creating in a vision board, mm-hmm. or in affirmations or things, mm-hmm. like that.
So I have a question, because I think this is something really cool for the listeners to know about. You, in your workshops, we just did one, and I'm sure we're going to have another one soon, but in your workshops, you talk about the power of thought. Mm-hmm. And you demonstrate this physically using a dowsing rod.
Correct.
So you pull somebody out of the audience or out of the group, and you have them focus on two different thoughts. One that is very sad, something that made them very, grief-stricken or sad. And another is something that's filled with love. And you show them what happens to the dowsing rod as it picks up that energy.
And people are pretty amazed.
Yeah. And so just the power of a thought within a second moves that copper dowsing rod like
Seconds.
Not even seconds.
Right.
In 1 second, it moves
Mm-hmm.
from the power of your thought and the aura that you put out there.
And I don't think people think that their thoughts are that powerful.
Right.
And that's where manifesting becomes crippled, because we're not aligning, like the IKEA box of furniture, we're not aligning up to try to put things in an order. So what we're feeling and thinking and believing is what we're trying to manifest. So you can do 1,000 vision boards, but if you still have those negative thoughts, and we're going to talk about that, like the fear and the things that the stories we tell ourselves, so that people can start to remanage or rethink about how they're processing.
So basically, they put this thing out there that they want to manifest, and then they sabotage it.
Correct.
With their thoughts.
It's almost like taking a good bath and shower, and you're all cleaned up, and then you go jump in the mud. Like, well, you should have not wasted your time.
Go dig in the dirt.
Yeah, go dig in the dirt. So what we want to think about, or if you as a listener, if you're looking at learning to manifest, truly manifest, it's how we think, how we say it, our limiting belief. I mean, that's what we really talk about in all my classes, is that limiting belief where people almost make things smaller. Like, I want to win enough money for this, instead of saying, I do deserve to have abundance. We try to control, people try to control, and then they feel like they're being greedy if they ask for too much. And that's that limiting belief system, is, thinking that you deserve less, or trying to put a parameter on it, when that's where you're not trusting the universe. And that's that partnership. And we try to control the outcome. Meeting you, how I manifested. You didn't know that, but I manifested you.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I rubbed the what is
Genie
it?
lamp.
The genie lamp, yeah. So 3 wishes. Yeah, I put out there that you were already in my life. And all the things that I was happy about our relationship. And then when I met you, I read that list. It was like, oh, this is her, but I didn't put a him or her. So that's where you can't be attached to the outcome, because it will show up if you're in alignment. But then what are you going to do with it when it has different
when it's different than you
and
expect?
It's better. And usually it comes through better, but we want to control how we think is best, when what I have learned through this process is usually the universe has a better outcome than what I did with my limiting belief. And I think too, it's trusting the process. What we want to make sure is, if you're opening yourself up to trust and open up to manifest, is to trust where you're guided with, or things were showing up. And it was interesting because I've been doing some research about women, because of the month it is, and I kept getting these things pop up about Egypt. Well, since then I went into your office and there was a flyer about Egypt. I came upstairs and was looking at social media and there was a thing about Egypt. This has been in 24 hours. So the universe will tap on your shoulder to say, we're listening to you and we want to show you. And so most people are either down on their phones, they're not paying attention. How that annoys me. People are walking across the street with their, face in their phones. And it's paying attention to those signs that the universe is listening, because that gives you more hope. It gives you more promise. You're feeling like, yes, you're being heard, and we want to be heard.
And that lends itself to give you more power in your manifesting, or in your desires.
And also being able to receive. I think that's the hardest one for some people, is we have a belief system. I was reading something on social media the other day that said, you have to work hard. And we do have these limiting beliefs that we're raised that, nothing is free. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard to get ahead. And what happens is that people don't know how to just receive a compliment or let someone pay or pick up the tab, things like that. If you cannot receive a compliment, how are you going to receive what you're trying to manifest? Because energy is energy. So if you're pushing that energy back, like, no, I'm okay. The universe is going, if you want us to help you and you want to start receiving, you better start receiving. And I think that's a really tough one for a lot of people, because they think they have to work hard to earn it. Do it all. And so
be so independent, you don't accept help from anything or anyone, including the universe, right?
And the universe can be whatever name you want to call it.
Spirit, God, universe. That's just our term because it's global.
Yeah, and allowing it to look different. I think a lot of people, and I know this was for myself early on until I started realizing that wasn't going to work, is to let it be different. I think even with the letter to the universe about how happy I was with my partner, and then you came as a woman, and I'm like, okay, well,
Thanks a lot.
thanks a lot. Okay, I'm gonna lean into this, and I think a lot of people have in their mind, oh, it should look like this. And again, that's feeling that you know more than everything else in the universe and how it works. And finding a different way to create it. I think that people see how other people are creating things and think it's the same way for them. And I think it's really that person finding on their own terms how it should be and how it can be, and not the way it just always looks, like copying somebody else and how we think it should look. Find your own path to it too. So when we want to manifest, I was thinking about showing some examples of how we can sabotage the way we manifest. And I was thinking, first of all, about someone that wants a new job. Say you have a job, it's okay, you're making decent money, but you don't love it, you're not passionate about it. And you feel that, you're just kind of going through the motions. And I know I've been there in my past job, not in this job, but my past jobs. And you're thinking, is there something better? How do I do this? How do I go here? So imagine that you're manifesting a career that really is creative and uses your passions and uses things that you can bring to the table. But then you go into that limiting belief. Is the belief about, well, is this a good time for me to leave? I mean, I'm getting older. Should I change careers at this point in my life? What if I am not as qualified? What if I'm a little bit shy? So, maybe I won't be able to talk about things. So are you going into it already limiting what may not work for you? And I think that's
you're limiting what shows up.
Right.
You're limiting your possibilities.
So it's going in and doing a better way of talking to yourself. So if you were going to encourage somebody else, I say, no, you got this. We don't do that to ourselves. Like if like one of our kids or someone goes, well, I'm thinking about this. You go, oh, well, tell me more. And if they go into something very negative, go, well, what do you have as a resource for that? Going into other types of possibilities of how to bridge whatever you think you're lacking. But what we do is we really focus in on what we're not going to get, or what we don't want, or where we're not going to be able to show up, or whatever story we're telling ourselves. So that's when you have to shift that and start thinking, if I was talking to somebody, is this what I would want them to say to me? And I think we do need to go into anything we're trying to manifest with open eyes to say, okay, is this a great risk? Should I be doing this? And things like that. But at the same time, stop the the negative talk, or the Debbie Downer,
the chump chatter,
the trash talk. And we do, we go into, well, what if I don't fit in? What if this job is not better than the one I already have? And again, we're going into this place of fear, limiting beliefs, there's not enough. So what you want to really do is always pay attention to your thoughts. The better scenario is, I have this perfect job and it's so awesome. I have this partner.
I work where I want, when I want, and with the people I want to work with.
Yeah. So going there versus, I'm going to use the word Debbie Downer. We don't want to go into that.
You can't use Debbie Downer.
Okay, let's use another one.
You're Deb Down. Your name's too close to that.
What you want to do, again, is what you were just saying, is this is where I am. It's already happened. It's already there.
You're acting as if it is there. Exactly the way you want it.
Absolutely. And again, be open to that process of how it may show up, but start putting that thought out there. Doing mantras. I mean, affirmations are a key to this. And you can do like Post-it notes in your car and in your mirror and on your computer with these affirmations. You can remind yourself and listen to how you're thinking. And I don't think that we do that.
And it's so funny that you just said that, because it just brought up a memory about Post-it notes. So I was very young when I had my son. I was only 22 and I hadn't established a career, and he was unexpected. Great unexpected gift, but unexpected. And so I had gotten a job that was 100% commission. And I knew going into this I was going to have to bust my behind to make it work. And I remember, and I didn't even know about manifesting or the secret, but I took Post-it notes and I posted my first goal was to hit this amount per week in commission. I did that for a while and then I upped it. So I would do that on Post-it notes on my computer so I knew what my goal was, because I wanted to be financially independent and be able to, take care of everything. That super independence, though, that may not have worked for other things later, but I knew what I wanted and what I needed, and I manifested it that way on Post-it notes.
Isn't that great?
Which is interesting. Yeah.
And it's such a simple thing. I mean, we don't have to make it difficult. Like you said, just the Post-it notes to remind yourself, yes, I am deserving. Yes, I want and desire these things, but they're already there. Not to have to work as hard, because I see people that don't work hard and they make a lot of money, if that's the goal.
Yeah.
So if you look at that belief system, it isn't because people work hard. It's because people's belief system shifts.
They limit themselves still, even though they think they're manifesting their thoughts.
Yes.
Limit them.
The one thing that I see often is someone wanting a life partner. I crack up. Well, I want this life partner. I don't want to do it all alone. I want just this life partner, and I want to have someone in my life that wants to share things. And so I go, okay, so how is this going to look for you? And the biggest things I get with that is these, I want somebody, but. Yes, I want somebody, but. And so there's all these ideas of what they don't want. And then I go, like, why don't you go online, go online and date? They go, oh, I'm not going online. There's all these. And what I've told people is going online doesn't mean you're going to meet somebody there, but going online tells the universe that you're open to meeting somebody.
Yeah.
And it has happened for several of my clients where they just got online, they met someone in a different way, but it showed the universe they were truly wanting to open up that door.
Yeah. I know of one client right offhand that this happened. Actually, we're invited to their wedding this year, here in a couple months. Yeah. And her name is Julie, but we met with her entire family.
Right.
And one of her issues, her husband had died, and she was having a hard time finding a healthy relationship, or a relationship at all. And after she took the class and started releasing the fear and the limiting beliefs, her relationship showed up.
Right.
The one she wants.
Right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, very quickly.
Yes.
So just really cool when you see the
transformation, the change.
Transformation and the change in clients. Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing is don't make it so hard. I always call it the constipation reading, right? Don't make it so hard.
The constipation manifesting.
Yeah. This is a story that I just got. When kids are little and they want to be something for Halloween, they know without a doubt, without question, that they want to be Batman, or they want to be...
Like my son, a taxi cab driver.
But they know without a doubt, there's no question of, oh, that's a stupid costume, or that's a stupid idea. It's none of that.
Yeah, they have no fear.
No fear. They're like, yeah, I want to be the monster. I want to be this, because that's the manifesting, that they have no limits to that imaginary idea of who they want to be. And so, taxi driver.
I know, of all things.
Of all things.
I'm like, oh my God, son.
Well, even with our grandkids, they know what they want, and we make it happen for them, or their parents do.
At 2, I want,
absolutely. And then we stop doing that as time goes on, like we're not deserving.
Yeah.
Or I think we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Or we're waiting for something negative for us to, if I get this, then what's the negative thing that's going to happen? Or what will people say? And so society
teaches us to limit ourselves.
So this is about really getting that clarity. And one of the ways to do that, in my opinion, is to record what you're trying to manifest. And when you're recording it, go back and listen. And what are you truly saying? If someone else listen to that, or you have someone else listen to it, is there buts in there? Are there a limiting belief? Are you trying to control it? And then are you truly believing that you deserve that for that receiving? And every time you go into that sabotage, pull yourself back and go, You know what?
Mm-hmm.
That's that limiting belief. And it really is a lot easier than people think. And I think the other thing about manifesting is making sure you don't manifest for other people.
Yeah.
Because people want to manifest for a family member or a friend. And I know early on I did that with this kind of stuff, is I was trying to get my husband at the time, a good job. And that wasn't the path, and that wasn't for me to do. And it ended up being that my career and this took off, which is so much passion about and completely different. To me, it was divine on so many levels. But that's that surrendering to allowing what can show up and how things can fall into place, and to lean into it, trust it.
So I think we're going to share some mantras that people can use here too. But I think that basically the acting as if
that's always
is, how you word what you say or what you record or what you write. Because in your example, you wrote a letter and it was as if it was in your life already. And I think that's a missing link too when people manifest, is they word it as if I want this.
It's still out
you're
there.
You're gonna keep wanting it because that's what you're putting out there. But also you said that manifesting, you manifest the negative and you manifest the positive.
Absolutely.
So that's what you're talking about when you filter. So if you're thinking these limiting beliefs and these thoughts that hold you back, basically, that's
manifest.
what you're manifesting, right?
If you think, I don't want to be around toxic people anymore, you probably will get more toxic people.
Yeah.
Because it's what you're trying to avoid, versus I'm in a place with some really good, healthy, positive people that are like-minded.
I surround myself with positive and genuine people who help and encourage me to reach my goals.
Yes.
That's a good one for that.
Yeah,
twist that into...
And what happens with those is, if you end up losing friends that are not aligned anymore, we have a grief process, so we try to hold on to those relationships versus allow the universe to remove them so you can add in the people that you're trying to manifest.
Well, if and we've learned that.
Yeah.
Is like whenever we go through some sort of change or transition, or we clean up our helpful people corner, or, in feng shui, we do a little bit of that work, we notice that people that are not aligned with us do drop away.
Yeah.
And not by our choice.
No.
And it's just an interesting process because it really does happen. It's like the universe comes in and starts to clean up what you surround yourself with.
And it's not that negative people that you can't be there for them and still have them in your life, but what you're trying to manifest is, if you're carrying all these burdens of these people that are highly negative and that's all you're getting from them, that's the exchange of energy, that's when then you have to rethink, is this where you want to spend all your time? Is this the energy you want to put out? And everything that we ever talk about is energy. So again, if you're in fear, let's say you're in fear of making a change in your life and thinking, what's the worst thing that can happen? Versus, you know what, I'm ready for this and I've managed so many different things in my life. I got this. And that's the biggest question when people say, well, I'm fearful of this. I go, well, name your fear. Because when we can stay in a comfort zone that isn't the best, we do want to change it, but the fear comes up of, what if it's not better? You can change it again. And maybe sometimes I think that when we have a little bit of that fear, it can continue to show up in our life as a negative. And then we keep thinking, oh, see, this is going to keep happening to me, versus, are you fear-based?
What do you think some of the biggest fears people have are?
Judgment, number one.
Being judged.
Being judged, I think, is a big one. I think the other one is, like, what will people think? Blah, 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 blah. And what if I do this?
It's all about what others think.
I think the other one is really believing that you deserve. I think people are harder on themselves than it's that trash talk, that if they've done something wrong in their past, they bring in a lot of guilt and shame. And as we've talked before, guilt and shame are low vibrations. So if you start doing that guilt stuff, like, why do I deserve this? When there's a war in Ukraine, there's those kind of things that we start comparing where other people are having a harder time. Why should I get this?
And that brought up another thought for me is, I owned a business that I had to shut down. And for me, it was a failure. It was a learning experience. I learned so much through that 7 years of owning and running a business. But for me, that was a failure. And I do go there sometimes and I have guilt. And I have a little bit of shame because I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to be able to provide jobs forever. All those things that you really have goals of doing, but it does creep in at times. Like, do I really know what I'm doing? Or I don't want this to fail, or, just the little thoughts that come up.
That talk, yeah. And especially if something is a reminder. It's like when we hear a song, it takes us back in time. We remember those things. And thoughts can do the same thing, where we go back to an experience like, oh yeah, I remember where that really was painful. But if you go into it saying, I have that, I went for 7 years and I gave people opportunities, and this is really great. It didn't have to go on forever, but there is that grief process. I'm going to talk about failure for a second. I think failure, in my opinion, is learning to show up and take risks that you deserve a better life. I think we look at failure as, don't ever do that again, or you're not capable, instead of thinking that it's okay to try something. And we talked about this in one of my classes recently, that if you had a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and they're playing soccer and they're sitting there looking at the grass, you wouldn't just be saying to them, oh, you just will never be an athlete. You're going to encourage them, come on, go, run.
Just
whatever.
have fun.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
But I think that we take out that energy from our, as being a child is, well, if I fail, then what are people going to think and say? And I don't want to fail. Versus you took a big risk. And we know this with science. There's scientists try things over and over and over and over, and that's not a failure. They're just trying to find out the answers.
Yeah. Even relationships is
a big one.
You can talk about how relationships have failed, but does that mean that
all your relationships are going to fail?
Right. No, it doesn't.
Well, ours did until we got together.
Well, that's because you manifested me.
Yes. But I think the whole idea of failure is, don't beat yourself up because you're trying to create a life, and taking those risks really is powerful, and consider yourself powerful.
It's just an experience, right?
Yeah, take it as an experience. Would you, if you knew the outcome of the business you had, would you still have done it?
Yes. I would have, because at the time it was a very positive thing. It just didn't go the way I wanted. And everything, I know this intellectually. I know, everything has its time. Yeah. It just wasn't meant to be for more than that 7 years. But 7 years is a long time. And I was ready for a change.
I'm like, you sure you want to keep doing this? I didn't tell you not to do it, but I'm just like, is this really what you want to do? Spend your time. So the biggest thing about manifesting then is really checking to see if you're aligned. If you're putting furniture together from IKEA, read the directions, make sure
all the screws and nuts and bolts are in the right places. Yeah.
So we have some tips here.
We wrote down some really good ones that will help you guys. I trust the universe. It gives me exactly what I need at exactly the right time.
I love that one.
That's what we were just talking about. Everything works out perfectly for me. I'm creating my dream life. But I would switch that. Not I'm creating. I have my dream life. Yeah, because if you act as if, that's still future for me. I'm creating. Is still future.
And it's the saying we have all the time, fake it till you make it. That, to me, is huge, because when you're learning something new and you're trying to change your energy, you are practicing something completely different. If you're over 40, let's say, you've had that belief system for over 40 years, it's not going to happen overnight. So be patient when you start changing your thought process,
your self-talk, all of it. How about this? I am worthy of receiving my yes. Now release everything that is not serving my highest purpose.
Which, be careful, because it will
manifest.
It will manifest.
And it might change quickly. My business gets better and better every day. I am abundant in my finances, happiness, and in love. My soul is living the life of my dreams. My soul is ready to live the life of my dreams. I guess we could word it that way. And we shared this one already. I surround myself with positive and genuine people who help and encourage me to reach my goals. The universe always has my back.
Oh, that's the good one. Whoa, I just got chills. And it's because when people are so independent, especially women, I know this is a month about powerful women, but women have come to the point where I want to be so independent. And that's okay if you choose to do that, but that really is an alignment, a belief system, which means that maybe the universe can't help you because you want to be that independent.
So it's saying, okay, go do your thing.
Go do your thing. Go make it hard.
Let me know when you want help. I'll be here waiting.
Use the magic of the universe.
My intentions for my life are clear. What I am seeking is seeking me. But that's still future for me. So you do have to be careful.
Yeah. And I
so
think
let's cross that one off.
Okay. And I think that's the thing about recording. If you think about it, write it down, and then record it, you'll be able to recognize, is this exactly what I want to throw out there to the universe? And is this what I want to stick?
I am smart, creative, and motivated, and I only take yes for an answer. That's me. I like that. Don't tell me no.
Dana does this where if someone goes, we can't do this. She goes, well, how do you think we can solve this issue? What are your... So she puts it
how
back,
do we do this?
I've heard her say that multiple times, and it gets fixed.
That's my belief system. I love support, and I believe in myself.
And it really is. Listen to your negative talk. Listen, because we do it more often than we understand. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get a big head or this is about your ego. It's realizing that you do have a partnership, and how do you want to create and manifest that with the universe?
So I like the sticky notes.
Well,
writing your affirmation on a sticky note. I find, now thinking back about it, I used to even have these little cards that would have,
I remember those.
I would pull one each day, and that would be my mantra for the day or the week or the month, whatever I decided. But just tiny little affirmations each day, like the universe is bringing me all the best.
Yes. And I think we get so busy and overwhelmed, and our to-do lists are so long. The universe is not asking you to work harder to manifest. They're just saying, let me help you. And I think that's the whole thing about going back to learning to receive. If you cannot receive a compliment without telling them where you bought the shirt and how long you've had it, you can't receive maybe the abundance. Maybe you're playing the lottery and you keep thinking you can't even receive a compliment, or having someone open the door, or apologizing all the time for things. Yeah, learn to receive. And of course, we do whole classes on that. So what you want to make sure, tips here, be clear, simple, and distinct. No fluff. Just get to the point. Don't trash talk your desires. We also have, I forgot to say this, we have manifesting boxes for sale on our website that people can buy.
Conscious
intentions. So you
manifesting treasure box.
Yes. So we have all things in there for you, whatever you want to manifest. Really, that partnership with the universe, I think, is key. And I really had the aha this week. We were going through what we need to get done, and I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And I got this huge reminder that I'm not working with the universe or my guides. I was sort of separating this, and when I started getting the aha, and I teach this, and when I do readings and teaching, I have my guides there, but for some of the things I need to do, I'm like, oh, I have this support system and I'm not using it.
You're trying to do it on your
own. And I could hear and we're nothing. We've helped you all along, and now you're just discarding us. So again, create that partnership again. And if you don't know what that looks like, make it up. I always tell people, make it up. Like when kids have the imaginary friend, just make it up. See yourself already in what you're manifesting. So act as if, which is what we talked about. Believe it will happen. I think a lot of people don't believe that they deserve it, or they've never created something that they really desire. They just kind of went through the process. And then trust that it may show up differently than you think. And normally, what I have found, it's always better than what I was trying to manifest. I mean, you're much better than I tried to manifest. What I wrote.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're much better. And then celebrate. I think we forget when we're going through this process is to celebrate that you're trying to create something new in your life. It's tough to be able to change your mindset when we're taught to believe a certain way. But when you and I have seen not only our own way of manifesting, but we've seen it with other people. And so it is possible. For sure. Okay. Please let us know how you're manifesting out there. Thank you for joining us on Spirited Straight Talk.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. Each Monday is a new episode of Spirited Straight Talk. Make sure you hit follow so you don't miss any of the guidance or bonus episodes. Your experience at the show means a lot to us, and we would love for you to leave a review or let us know about more topics you would like Deb to explore. You can also follow Deb on social media and connect with her website at debshepard.com. That's DEBSHEPPARD.com. If you want to join Deb on one of the shows or have a reading from her on the show, you can submit a request on the podcast page of her website. Thank you again, and see you next week.